Well, the first development of Middlebrook Agri-Hood's town center is complete. Developers hope the center incoming will bring more community to the small town. Local 5's Emma Stroner is with us in studio to tell us all of the details. Emma?
That's right, Alex. 26 new lofts are available for lease and will feature 5,000 square foot retail spaces in the building across a soon-to-be finished People's Company headquarters. I spoke with Vice President of Diligent Development, Tim Portson, about how these new spaces will welcome people to coming. Just south of Highway G14, the Middlebrook Town Center currently features apartment units and soon-to-be occupied retail spaces. Two confirmed are the Reese Marie Salon and the Farm Stand by Manistash Mercantile, which is a lifestyle boutique. And People's Company headquarters is underway just across the lofts. It will bring lots of employment to the town, more than it's seen since the addition of the Hy-Vee Distribution Center.
People's Company will bring about 70 plus people to the area. Cumming hasn't really had that influx of employment ever, with the exception of the Hy-Vee Distribution, which was just a few years ago.
And with a population of 558, 70 makes a dent. And the apartment units will hold new tenants as well. One of the key parts of the town center is its energy, which will be sourced with solar power and geothermal heating and cooling.
Middlebrook is a lot of things, but we're trying to build this ethos around sustainability, and whether that's environmental sustainability or financial sustainability or just like community sustainability.
With green energy sourcing and spaces for work and living, this small town may see some new faces.
Local 5 photojournalist Carter Bagley helped share the incredible story of one dog's journey home.
We let him loose because we just walk across the street and suddenly out of the blue disappeared.
We look for the shelters, Ankeny, the south side, and asking many pages that help those dogs and try to find him.
He was on our front porch just hanging out. Animal control came over and they picked him up, and when she picked him up she said, oh, he has a chip on him. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe he does have an owner. And so I just kind of thought that maybe they find out where he belonged and maybe it'd be around here somewhere. They were like, yeah, the dog is apparently from Iowa. And I was like, from Iowa?
And I contacted the emergency contact, which is Mr. Fernando, and he was ecstatic. He was super happy because he hadn't seen his dog for over a year.
We got a call Saturday, and we arranged to meet the next day, Sunday, and go and pick him up. And then we went, and it was Mayo. So, and we all got like really excited.
Once they saw Mayo, I mean, they were all happy, and I mean, lots of smiles, and I think there were some tears that were shed as well.
We're so happy because it was him, and we bring him to home and show him his new home, because we moved to another house and he has more space to play.
The reason that we never got another pet because we were waiting for him.
Des Moines Public Schools is scaling back its Reimagine Education plan. The plan will now take place over 5 years instead of 10 and will have about half of its initial budget. Local 5's Alex Fulton sat in on the school board meeting where the board heard a revised version of the plan. Alex, what was the response from board members?
Well, Larissa, Des Moines School Board members responded very positively to the new version of the Reimagining Education Plan. The biggest change to know about is the budget is now $265 million, whereas the old version had a budget of $500 million. The old version retired 7 schools, whereas the new version will only get rid of 3. Those 3 are Walnut Street School, Howey Elementary, and Harding Middle School. Another big change to know about, 6th to 8th graders will stay at the middle school level. The initial version moved 6th graders to elementary schools. Also, almost all district facilities will only see partial upgrades, not full-scale renovations as originally intended.
This particular $265 million plan also reduces the timeline, as Dr. Roberts mentioned, to get us going from 10 years to 5 years. That is a significant change, because now what we can say is that the vast majority of our students will experience these changes while they're in Des Moines Public Schools.
So how much will this raise property taxes? Well, it depends on your home evaluation. For example, a home valued at $200,000 will raise your property taxes by about $189 annually. That's about $160 less than the initial version of the plan. Now, a committee of parents and community members will now start circulating a petition. It will need signatures from 25% of voters who participated in the last school board election. That's at least 25% of those voters. If that happens, the scaled back version of this bond referendum will end up on the November ballot. Live in Des Moines, Alex Fulton, Local 5 News.
We begin with the Calhoun County Courthouse, where a verdict is now in for the man accused of killing a Farnhamville teen last September. Tonight, we're getting new details in what led up to the murder of 17-year-old Michelle Luna Jackson. Local 5's Alex Fulton joins us now with more on the verdict in this case. Alex, what are we learning, and how did the family react when the judge made a decision?
Well, Larissa, Michelle Jackson's family was very emotional when the judge read the guilty verdict. I saw many of them shedding tears and hugging each other in response. Michelle's sister, Bambi, told me personally this trial has been too much for her mother, and she wasn't able to attend today.
The defendant's attack was premeditated, willful, and designed to do physical harm to Michelle Jackson.
After a 2-day bench trial, Judge Derek Johnson found Nathaniel Bevers McGivney guilty of murdering Michelle Jackson. On September 22, 2024, Bevers McGivney went to the Farnhamville City Park with a 4-inch knife that uses 3 different blades.
The defendant approached Michelle Jackson and cut her throat with a knife, and then proceeded to stab her in the back until the blade became detached and remained lodged in her back.
He then dragged Michelle's body back to his apartment, where he threw away the knife in a trash can.
The defendant left his apartment and then located and retrieved a nearby rolling trash bin and placed Michelle's body in it. He then rolled the trash bin a significant distance away from the park and left it by a nearby cornfield.
Bevers McGivney's face remained blank as the judge read through the disturbing timeline of events. That night, Michelle's mom, Annette, searched for her and found Bevers McGivney with Michelle's electric scooter. Michelle's sister, Shauna, called her boyfriend, Jordan, who held Bevers McGivney at gunpoint until authorities arrived.
Soon after Jordan's arrival, Annette inspected the scooter and noticed one of Michelle's shoes was in the basket and had blood on it.
The next morning, Michelle's body was found at Landis Cooperative in Farnhamville.
Michelle suffered a large incision to her neck, 4 stab wounds to her head, 22 stab wounds to her chest and abdomen, multiple superficial stab wounds to her head, arms, and torso, and other contusions.
Calhoun County Attorney Ben Smith called the verdict a win for a family still in mourning.
They will be struggling for some time. So while justice was served, it's not bringing Michelle back, but it is one step closer to peace for the family.
Now, I did try to talk with Michelle's sister, Bambi, afterwards, but she wasn't ready yet to speak on camera. She did share that she is happy about this outcome. Bevers McGivney will be sentenced on August 15th. Live in Calhoun County, Alex Fulton, Local 5 News.
Recent legislative action has ruled mental health program Integrated Health Home, or IHH, to end by December 31st. The program provides thousands of Iowans with broad-based care management and coordination. And Local 5's Emma Stroner is here to tell us the effects of this change.
Those enrolled in IHH have started to transition to other forms of care as of July 1st. This includes targeted case management, managed care organizations, and certified community behavioral health clinics. This means patients could have a whole change of routine, from how often they are seen to the provider who visits them. An IHH staff member who wanted his identity hidden in fear of retaliation for speaking out says that cutting this program could negatively impact patients. He says management care organizations are understaffed and that ending the IHH could bring in thousands of new patients due to the transitions that will be made.
The ideal ratio, according to HHS, for MCO care coordinators to have is 1 coordinator per every 43 clients. They're not currently at that, they're above that. and they are going to be inundated with thousands of more people.
He explains that in his line of work, he's been able to regularly check in with patients and as a result can easily recognize changes in their behavior. He says with IHH ending, that consistent care won't happen.
You're able to ask questions and nip things in the bud. That's not going to happen when somebody's just calling over the phone to talk to you for 3 minutes because they've got 60 more people to do that for.
According to him, proximity is another key part of IHH. He tells Local 5 that he's located within a 20-minute drive of all of his clients, whereas MCO care coordinators are regional staff, making some staff drive over an hour to see their patients for in-home care. Paula Davis is the mother of a patient who uses IHH services. She worries that her son, who is on the autism spectrum and has bipolar disorder, won't be able to handle the changes.
He's going to get lost in a shuffle. And autistic children, no matter what degree they are, have to have structure. And they have to have continuity. And he's not going to have the continuity that he has with his personal IHH guy now. He won't have it. He could be totally lost. He could go backwards instead of forwards. And that's what worries me.
She says that he'll lose the professional he's been seeing for years.
A new individual that does not know my son. He does not know his disability. He does not know how to work with him.
Paula says that her and her son are devastated. We reached out to GOP Representative Ann Meyer and Iowa State Representative Eddie Andrews and did not hear back. We will be speaking with Iowa Health and Human Services next week.
If you spy a kitten roaming around on its own this summer, you may not be the only one. In most cases, cities will help you manage when you find a stray cat, but the West Des Moines Animal Shelter says that's not always the case in the suburbs. Local 5's JD Snover caught up with Furry Friends Animal Shelter today. JD, what did they tell you?
That's right, Larissa. Earlier this week, we had S'mores, who can be seen behind me right here, show up to our studio without a mother around. We called animal control, who told our staff they couldn't take her because the shelter they usually use doesn't take cats anymore. If you see a kitten roaming around in your neighborhood on its own this summer, you're not alone. The period from late spring to early fall is what shelters call kitten season.
Kittens like these ones are born on the streets all the time because we have cats who are wandering outside, whether they are feral or whether they are stray domesticated cats and they're not spayed and neutered.
Britt Gagne with Furry Friends Animal Refuge in West Des Moines says in most cities, call your animal control line and they will help you figure out the next steps. But in West Des Moines, that's not always the case.
The kittens that are being found there, they are not offering services to be able to take those kitties in and ensure that they get new homes. That's of great concern to us because there are several hundred strays, including many kittens each year.
The western suburb used to contract with A. Hines 57, a shelter located in DeSoto. But at the beginning of this year, they stopped caring for cats. That leaves West Des Moines without someone to turn to and, according to Gagne, without a plan.
There's no reason that they have to grow up out on the streets and grow up not being socialized to people. There's a socialization window that occurs under 8 weeks of age generally, that even if they're pretty scared, when we get them in, we can hold them for a little while.
We are happy to report that S'mores has found a loving home. Local 5 did reach out to the city of West Des Moines for comment today, but we have not heard back. Larissa?
We are well into summer, and you know what that means. It's sweet corn season. Local 5 chief photographer Don Schmidt introduces us to one Grimes sweet corn seller who's already making the most of the harvest.
It just has this wonderful flavor that you only get at this time of year.
we wait quite a while for it. We're here the first day they have it.
The sweet. That's it, the sweet. I heard about Grimes sweet corn when I lived in Granger. And so my girlfriend and I, we used to get some and freeze it up, and it's good. And I saw an ad that they were looking for some help. I applied for it. We give it extra ear on 6, so okay, so it'll be $6. That means 11, 12. We do a baker's dozen, honey. So I got 13. As soon as they see me, I'm kind of like the Pied Piper sometimes. They just follow me in.
And so I've been in this spot probably, I want to say 3 or 4 years.
I love to talk to people, find out where they're from sometimes. The people have a wonderful history, and especially seniors, because nobody talks to them. And so that's why I get a lot of people in, because they're lonely. And they'll come just to buy 1 ear or 2 ear. I will sell it, no problem, and just it puts a smile on their face.
And how you doing today?
Oh, wonderful.
Good.
Well, we're here 7 days a week. And if you don't see me, it's because I sold out.
Sometimes the hours are long, especially in the heat, it feels longer, but I still go home with a smile on my face.
With the 2024 presidential election in the rear view, some politicians are starting to think about the future. Local 5's J.D. Snover caught up with a Democratic leader who wants his party to return its first-in-the-nation status for caucusing in Iowa. J.D.?
Yeah, Larissa, I talked to State House Minority Leader Brian Meier today about the possibility for a return in the next cycle in 2028.
I think the caucuses are the way to go. And
after missing out in 2024, some Iowa Democrats want to be the first in the presidential nominating process once again.
I think it's self-evident that we have a common sense here in the Midwest that could really help national Democrats moving forward.
To Iowa House Minority Leader Brian Meier, it's not just about being first, but also about keeping the traditional caucus system in place. Some call the process outdated, but he says it gives Iowans a unique opportunity.
What needs to happen is candidates need to come, shake hands, kiss babies, learn about issues, learn about what Iowans care about, what Midwesterners care about.
And he's calling on his party's leadership to push back against the national level and restore Iowa's first-in-the-nation status, which began in 1972.
We need to do this, and we need to get back in first and not care so much what the national party thinks about this, because they have not done a very good job recently.
As far as Republicans go, Iowa GOP Chair Jeff Kaufman says President Donald Trump's visit to Des Moines last week is a good sign for his party's future in the role.
We continued to do that, and I have every intention, but we still have to be named first in the nation. And this is a huge step in that direction.
There have been some early indicators that Iowa could play a role in 2028 for Democrats. Potential candidates like Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Pete Buttigieg have already held town halls in the state, with Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego scheduled to appear at the state fair next month, Larissa.
A chance for heavy rainfall is bad news for some outdoor businesses and cities. Des Moines city officials say they'll be closely monitoring streams tonight into tomorrow. In the event of flash flooding, the Public Works Department has extra crews ready to respond. Local 5's Alex Fulton is live near the Des Moines River with more about the impacts on central Iowa. Alex?
Well, Larissa, a lot of eyes will be on the Des Moines River here in the next 24 hours. If it ends up cresting, city officials could close down roads, and it might mean yet another day closed for a business in Boone.
I mean, we just really haven't had a season yet.
Jill Bryan says his business is at the mercy of Mother Nature.
You know, if you just, play it by the book and hope for the best as far as Mother Nature giving us too much rain or not enough rain.
Since opening in mid-June, Seven Oaks has shut down its canoeing, kayaking, and tubing services on most days. That's because of heavy rainfall in the Fort Dodge area, raising the levels of the Des Moines River where the activities are held.
We're getting very close, again, to being at a height where we feel comfortable putting the public out again. But as we all know, they're talking some big rains in the forecast again.
Every morning, Brian checks out a river gauge in Stratford. The water levels have to be at or below 10.3 feet for him to welcome guests.
We hire a lot of high school, college kids to help us out in the summertime. And so if we're not on the river, we don't really have a lot of hours. And so that's probably, for me, what hurts the most.
The city of Des Moines starts preparing for flood season as soon as snow season ends.
We've had several flood events here in Des Moines, so we kind of know what equipment and materials they have on hand, and we have that.
Fast and heavy rainfall could cause the city officials to shut down certain streets.
Yeah, there's some traditional low-lying roads that flood first, around close to the river, obviously, and then historically over by Broadlawns Hospital.
For now, Brian with Seven Oaks will just have to wait and see how the rest of the summer season shakes up.
We're just hopeful that the water continues to go down and we get on the water and we have, a good 6 weeks left of the season.
Now, if you do see water over the roadways, don't drive through it and make sure to call Des Moines Public Works to let them know. You can head to the City of Des Moines website for the latest information on road closures. Live in downtown Des Moines, Alex Fulton, Local 5 News.
Just before noon today, we were contacted by the staff at Grandview, and they let us know that a golfer had found what they thought was a pipe bomb on the course. We sent some officers out here. They were able to put eyes on it and definitely recognized it to be something suspicious and potentially dangerous.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Loris Leon. We begin tonight at the Waveland Golf Course, where, as you just heard, Des Moines police are now investigating an improvised explosive device that was found there. Local 5's Emma Stroner is at the course right now following this story closely. Emma, what are we learning about how authorities responded to the situation?
I'm at the Waveland Golf Course, where in the area right behind me, the Des Moines Police Department say officers found an improvised explosive device this afternoon. When police and the bomb squad arrived, they determined it would be best to detonate the device on the scene.
We evacuated the course, we secured the scene out here, and then we brought in our bomb squad. They suited up, went out there, confirmed that it was actually a device. It was a live device, so we figured the best course of action, rather than handle it, was to detonate it where it was.
Sergeant Parizek says there's no threat to the public, but the course is still closed until further notice. We will continue to follow this news and give you updates as soon as we learn of them. Live in Des Moines, I'm Emma Stroner, Local 5 News.
Over in Guthrie County, strong winds and heavy rain left behind downed trees, debris, and a big cleanup effort for residents this morning. Local 5's Megan McPherson has been on the ground all morning long. She's been tracking this damage and talking with those impacted. Megan, where are you now, and what is the extent of the damage?
Well, Dana, the impact of these storms can be felt across Guthrie County this morning, and really the biggest thing that we have seen, dozens and dozens of trees either ripped from the grounds or ripped in half. That is really what we have seen throughout the morning, and I want you to take a look behind me because there is a tree on this property that really shows, I think, the extent of what this storm caused both here in Panora and also really just across the county. The owners of the property where this tree is tell me that they believe it's one of the oldest in Panora. It's got to be over 100 years old. You can tell by the size of it. You can see that crews are already making quick work of getting some of those limbs off and trying to, of course, get it off of the property. But the fact that a tree this old and this big snapped in half as a result of these storms shows you just how powerful those heavy winds were last night. Now, earlier this morning, we were just down the highway from here over in Guthrie Center, watching as residents came out of their homes to assess damage very similar to what the owners of this property saw. Now, you can see just how much tree damage there is in these images that we captured. Large limbs falling onto homes or tearing down fences. Now, one family I spoke with lost power after those heavy winds sent a tree in the backyard of their home crashing into their power line.
When I looked outside, it actually looked like a tornado was right outside the door because of the wind and all that, sounds of heavy wind and all that. And then when I heard the big crash, I thought something went through my house. So I jumped up, ran and checked. Power has been out since, about 11:45-ish last night.
The National Weather Service says that they are investigating whether all of this damage was caused by straight line winds or tornadic activity. That's a big question right now. And also you can see in these clips here that crews are working diligently, line workers, to get power restored for some customers who lost it throughout the course of these storms. Now, also, the city of Panora is encouraging some of these residents. They have put out some guidance, basically telling people what they should do if they have trees like this, large trees in their backyard that either need to be disposed of from a crew or that need to be taken off of their property. So if you do live here in Panora or either in Guthrie County, just make sure that you're checking with the city or even the local emergency management. They have guidance for you if you have damage from this storm. Live in Panora, Megan McPherson, Local 5 News.